Animation has come a long way since Walt Disney rolled out Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937. Technology has come a long way too, allowing viewers to see moments which were never intended for them. A frozen moment of time that makes you look twice, unsure if you should dare to look a third time. CBR has gathered the creepiest, funniest, and oddest pause moments from your favorite Disney animated films. So hit play and watch us hit pause, giving you a fresh, sometimes frightening new view of your favorite Disney films. For those of you who love ad-free viewing and free things, we're excited to announce the Premium Network. The Premium gets you early access to videos from CBR, The Gamer, Screen Rant, and many other great channels. Literally thousands of videos in one place with ad-free browsing. How sweet is that? Sign up for the Premium by clicking the link to start binge-watching videos from your favorite channels. Don't pause, don't stop, just hit subscribe to get CBR's best videos first.
Oh, the poor little thing scared to death.
Cinderella. A beautifully shaped sandal, tossed from the air by an eagle, lands in the lap of an Egyptian king. His subsequent quest to complete the pair finds its owner, who happens to be a young Greek gal, is a story dating back to 7 BC. It's the first known version of the popular folktale known today by another name. A wickedly oppressive stepmother and magical pumpkins were made famous by Charles Perrault in the late 1600s. Taking care of one's teeth wasn't introduced to 1950 when Disney released Cinderella. When Disney made their version of unrecognized attributes followed by unexpected recognition, no one knew how progressive the film would be. The movie still holds up today, and its central character, once a suffering heroine, is now Cinderella, the second longest tenured Disney princess. Throughout the film, many lessons are learned, like telling children how important good dental hygiene is. If you pause the movie as the Grand Duke and the King are observing the Great Ball, you'll see the two discuss how critical good oral health is. It's easy to miss, but when you freeze the frame, you can clearly see the King checking the Duke dental issues from behind him. He's even using his monocle to ensure the Duke regularly flosses. Hey, now that's a great friend.
You want to talk about a supply and demand problem? I sell ice for a living.
Ooh, that's a rough business to be in right now.
Frozen. Love may be an open door, but Anna's first and short-lived love interest, Prince Hans, got his face closed by his former gal pal. Her sister Elsa seems to be the only one in the royal family of Arendelle with magical powers. Yet if you freeze a frame with Frozen, you'll find that Anna may have super strength. Hans and Anna seem like a dream couple for the majority of 2013 smash hit Frozen. The movie pulled the story out from underneath the audience when Hans turned evil. Anna ended up with lovable lug Kristoff. It also scared the poop emoji out of everyone when Hans got his face caved in shortly after kidnapping Anna and convincing the townfolk that Elsa broke bad and killed her sister. He almost gets away with it, but he forgot that girls rule and boys drool. As his nefarious plan fizzles, he gets a parting punch from his former flame, one that makes his face look like it's made from Play-Doh. His eye sockets seem to envelop Anna's fist, his mouth and chin drooping 3 inches past normal. Millions of children now scarred for life.
You got about as much chance of getting that restaurant as I do of winning the Kentucky Derby. Woo-hoo!
The Princess and the Frog. Looking to end a string of disappointments by Disney standards, the studio returned to what it does best. In a genre they helped create, animated movie musicals. They shook things up in 2009, visiting the 1920s Big Easy in The Princess and the Frog, taking the classic fairy tale of a frog in desperate need of a smooch and giving it a voodoo-themed makeover. Still, it resembles a horror film if you're brave enough to hit pause while watching it. In the movie, Tiana's BFF, Charlotte LaBouffe, is a rich southern belle, while new-to-town Prince Naveen is in need of that exact same kind of gal.
Mom and Dad cut you off, huh, Playboy?
Sad but true.
During a masquerade ball, before they lay eyes on Naveen, Charlotte throws a tantrum, lamenting her lack of quality choices of men to marry. While Tiana does her best to comfort her friend's first world problem, LaBouffe's meltdown gives her face the appearance of melting if you catch it at a quick glance. While her mascara running rampantly down her cheeks, you might think she just saw the inside of the Ark of the Covenant, or maybe at the end of the 3-day bender.
I'll do it. I'll set you free.
Yeah, right.
Aladdin. The second highest grossing Disney animated film ever is Aladdin. It's based on a Middle Eastern folk tale from the book Arabian Nights. The core of the original story remains in the modern version. Impoverished but rebellious Aladdin is a street kid that yearns for a better life. Lucky for him, he finds a magic lamp containing a wish-granting genie. Unlucky for him, he almost rips his body in half trying to get away from a palace guard. During our introduction to the titular character, we follow Aladdin as he is chased through the market by the man. He evades the guards using well-honed own street smarts and by possibly breaking every bone in his body. Seeing is believing, so hit pause right as he attempts to evade a sword swing and watch as he slips across screen doing an impossible split using fish guts as lubrication and his pet monkey Abu as a distraction.
You won't get away so easy!
You think that was easy?
He depants a guard while almost ripping his hips out of their joints. He probably splits his MC Hammer pants as well. Still, it's a pretty impressive feat using Matrix-like moves inspired by a contortionist. In the end, he gets the girl, the gold, and the genie. Let's just all hope the king's horses and men could put Aladdin back together again.
Just hold still.
That hurt!
Beauty and the Beast. It may be a tale as old as time, but when the beast dies and then doesn't die, spoiler alert, near the end of the animated classic, it's pretty obvious that Prince Adam needs to work on his hygiene. If you explore this scene frame by frame, you'll know why Belle probably demanded Adam get a mani-pedi before they consummated their marriage. One of the most successful animated movies ever, 5th highest grossing if you're counting, the movie is about loving what's on the inside, not judging a book by its cover, and various other cliches. The 2017 live-action remake starring Emma Watson made over $1 billion in 3 months. People love this story, yet Adam's gnarly toenails and hideous beard during his transformation from beast to bro would give any potential mate a case for the second guesses.
No, Belle!
In one frame, his toenails are lengthy, his feet covered in wispy hair, more Hobbit than Hunk. A few seconds later, his face morphs. You catch glimpses of one of the poorest choices in facial hair, the never-cool neck beard. Wait, neck beards aren't cool? I think I'm gonna need some shaving cream. Hold on.
You look great, kid. You look sensational.
Little Mermaid. Not every Disney movie has a prince, but when they do, they're usually handsome as heck. They also have to be kind and charming, and willing to accept that the lower half of your lady may be flippity flipper. # Disney character problems. Sometimes, though, the water isn't bluer on the other side, and your perfect prince can turn out to be downright disgusting. Prince Eric, an apparently fine royal specimen, is the object of Ariel's affection in the 1989 film The Little Mermaid. She falls for him, hard, and dreams of getting his attention. Though she's a wee bit nervous, he'll be turned off by her fishy lower half. The perfect scenario for a big bad to take advantage of, which is exactly what Ursula, the sea witch, does. She attempts Ariel with getting the man of her dreams at the cost of her lovely voice.
Have we got a deal?
During her sales pitch, Ursula conjures some sketchy underwater illusions, and one may make the Little Mermaid think twice. If you pause at just the right moment, you'll see the ugly side of Prince Eric, the image of his handsome face being swapped with Ursula's as her face bursts through her magic water mirror. An awful face mashup you'd be too embarrassed to post.
Best day ever!
Tangled. For their 50th animated film, Disney went back to the fairy tale well, telling the story of a girl with golden and obnoxiously long hair. They made Rapunzel cool again with Tangled. She's a kidnapped, adopt girl who's in desperate need of a new hairdo. As the movie begins, she has 2 companions, the evil captor, Mother Gothel, and her overprotective pet, Pascal, a chameleon that attempts to devour the first new person Rapunzel meets. While Pascal knows Rapunzel needs a few human friends, he didn't take kindly to the first man to enter Rapunzel's overgrown tower, Eugene Fitzherbert, or Flynn Rider, as absolutely no one has ever called him. If you pause the movie during their initial meeting, you'll find Pascal attempting to make a meal out of his owner's potential suitor, as they attempt to wake up an unconscious Rider, which is nice considering they knocked him out twice. Pascal tries to help by licking his ear, which is super gross. Even worse, if you stop the movie as Flynn swats him away, the lizard seemingly levels up and evolves into attack mode. With jaw wide open, his claw popped and eyes bulged, this chameleon is more of a predator than a pet. Monsters, Inc. If you have a job or thinking about getting a job instead of watching videos all day, know this: workplace romances are never a good idea. While it works out every once in a while, most time it ends up with a trip to human resources and awkward office gossip. Mike Wazowski, the one-eyed monster in Monsters, Inc., was already dating one coworker, receptionist Celia May, when his best friend since forever, Sully, already had his deal with that baggage. So imagine his surprise when he sees Mike and his arch rival, Randall, puckered up in the company locker room. Near the beginning of Monsters, Inc., we meet Mike and and Sully as they're ending a hard day's work of scaring the crap out of kids.
Another day like this and that scare record's in the bag.
They run into Randall, another top scarer, albeit a snide and preening one. When the three meet in the movie, you may do a double take, asking yourself if you saw what you think you saw. If you think you saw Sully trying to back out of a moment he's probably not meant to see, but Mike's look overly excited about, then you saw exactly what you think you saw. The internet doesn't lie. In this case, as the long-standing meme that you should never pause a Disney movie is so true. Brave. Have you ever had a bad hair day? Probably most have, and when your mane is tangled, you toss on a hat and hide your hairy situation. When you're Meridia, the protagonist of 2012's Brave from Pixar and Disney, you run to the Scottish Hills because you'll never cover up that mop top. If you catch a scene from this movie at the wrong time, you'll wonder what the animators were thinking, making her hair a sentient being. Before she became the 11th Disney princess, Meridia was just a little lass living the life of a young princess in medieval Scotland.
Oh, that's attractive.
Near the beginning of the film, she learns she is to be betrothed to an ally of her father, and it doesn't sit well with Meridia, and based off how her hair behaves, you may not want to make her angry. Before she heads to dinner to get the bad news, her most memorable feature attempts to overtake her, lifting her into the air, apparently having a mind of its own. Her hair took animators over 3 years to configure, and just a split second to make it look like it was trying to fly right off her head.
Are there any aminos in here?
Lilo and Stitch. One of the more underrated Disney animated films, in our humble opinion, is Lilo and Stitch. Released in 2002, the movie was well received by critics, but didn't dominate the box office. While it didn't set any records, the film spawned the franchise, including direct-to-video sequels and a few television shows. It also has a pause scene that redefines the human face. The film finds Experiment 626, Stitch, crash landing on a Hawaiian island. He takes on the form of a dog, eventually being adopted by Lilo Pelikai. The young girl lives with her sister, Nanny, who, along with caring for a short-tempered extraterrestrial, has to convince the world's buffest social worker she's fit to raise her sister, Lilo.
I don't think so.
It might be tough since on his first visit to their home, Stitch rearranges his facial features. The awesomely named Cobra Bubbles gets smashed by the cover of a book, and if you hit pause just as his head falls back like a Pez dispenser, you'll see a grotesque combination of lips, nose, and teeth, pushing the boundaries of family-friendly for this film.
L'amour.
If you look twice, thrice, maybe even 4 times at our moments, pausing our pause scenes, seeing if you can figure out just what the heck is going on. If you want your friends to see what you'll never forget, be sure to share and subscribe today to keep up to date with our playlist. Thanks for watching.